Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, a darker shade of black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. After actor Liam Neeson dropped a racist tweet on Twitter, we have a conclave of minstrels going out here trying to defend and justify what this racist white supremacist said in that tweet. And this conclave of mammies and minstrels and coons are trying to find some way to excuse what Liam Neeson said, and some are even trying to justify what this racist has said. Now, when I listen to what your Liam Neeson posted in that tweet on Twitter, I cannot excuse what he said or what he even thought, because when it comes down to his words and his actions, they are just like the words and the actions of a Ku Klux Klansman during the era of Jim Crow. Because your Liam Neeson in that tweet said, after he heard about the rape of this white woman in Ireland, he walked the streets with this kosh, which is a collapsible nightstick, looking for a black man to beat up. And for him to do that, again, it's very similar to the words and actions of a Ku Klux Klansman during Jim Crow. Because during Jim Crow, oftentimes we had these white females out here who would say that they were raped or they were assaulted by a black man. And then we had these white knights who would come out here to defend the honor of that white woman by going out here to lynch an innocent black man. Now, when I listen to your tweet from your Liam Neeson, it is just like the actions of many of those Ku Klux Klansmen back during the days of Jim Crow and the post-Reconstruction period, who went out of their way to murder innocent black men, all based on the accusations of a white woman. Because it was men like your Liam Neeson who were the ones who murdered Emmett Till and tortured that boy to the point where he wound up with his body completely mutilated. So when I look at someone like Liam Neeson making that type of statement, that's something that I cannot excuse, that is something I cannot justify, and something that I find to be deeply troubling when you have Negroes out here looking for ways to excuse this individual for making such a clearly racist statement and a statement of clear hatred for black people. It just shows how deeply mentally damaged some of these Negroes are and how deeply codependent they are on white people, because no human being who values themselves is going to justify or excuse Liam Neeson's behavior, because any rational thinking man who hears that a friend of his was raped, what they're going to do first is comfort that individual and let them know that there are men out here who support her and are looking to protect her. And then they're going to let a police officer do their job the way they're supposed to do. They're going to let the detectives do their job, because, again, it was this type of frenzy that led to the death of Amadou Diallo. Now, back in 1999, we had cops who were, again, all in their emotions, looking for some so-called rapist in the Bronx, and that they went out here and shot up Amadou Diallo 19 times. So we know that whenever it comes down to these allegations of rape and black men, whenever they're out here, that these white men can go out here and participate in these horrific acts of violence. So when I listen to people making excuses for your Liam Neeson, I cannot get on board with that. And I cannot support people who think that anything that just try to justify what this man has said. What this man has said is completely egregious, and what's even more egregious than your Liam Neeson are your Liam Neeson apologists and people in the media trying to spin the story regarding Liam Neeson talking about forgiveness. Where is the so-called forgiveness for Bill Cosby, a man who was completely railroaded by the American criminal justice system? Where is the talk of forgiveness for your Bill Cosby? I'm sitting there wondering, this man, Bill Cosby, did absolutely nothing wrong, but nobody wants to talk about forgiveness as related to him. But with Liam Neeson, we want to give him a pass because he's a white male, and he's a white male who was starred in many popular films in Hollywood. And I'm sorry, he may have starred in all these films in Hollywood, but I'm not going to give your Liam Neeson a pass for acting and behaving just like one of these beta male Ku Klux Klansmen who, whenever they hear that a white woman is violated, what they want to do is go out here and play the white knight and then go out here and attack an innocent black man instead of trying to make sure that the right person is brought to justice. And that's what any loving and caring man would do, regardless of race. They would want the police to do a thorough investigation, and they would want that police to catch the right individual so that right person can be, one, brought to justice, and two, that person would never harm another person again. Because when it came down to the Ku Klux Klan, oftentimes they wound up murdering innocent black men. Meanwhile, the same criminals, usually white males, were continuing to terrorize the so-called white female they said they supposedly wanted to protect and defend the honor of. So many of these Ku Klux Klansmen and these white terrorists, when they would go out here and lynch a black man or attack a black man, they would wind up making their communities less safer than they would if they allowed the police to do their job. And when your Liam Neeson says he's going to go out here and attack a black man because he's so in his emotions, he is making people less safer, and he's polarizing people. And I cannot excuse it, whether it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The fact that he posted this tweet on Twitter and thought nothing of it shows how deeply racist this man is, and it showed how deeply troubled this man is, because any, again, rational thinking man would say, look, even if I was even thinking this, I would not want to post this on social media so that everybody can see it and see what I was thinking or even feeling, and then to say even wanted to act on it, and then to put that up there, again, shows how emboldened this man is to feel free about expressing his racism. And I find it disturbing that people aren't angry about it, and these spellbound Negroes, they would rather try to find a way to excuse it so that they can go out here and watch some Liam Neeson movies like Phantom Menace, Rob Roy, or the Taken movies. They would rather be entertained by Liam Neeson than hold Liam Neeson to a higher standard as related to his conduct and his behavior. Now, as I see Liam Neeson, I'm holding him to the same high standard I would hold myself to. And if you're going to make that type of statement and say that you want to hurt black people, then again, black people need to put the hurt on him by saying, we're not going to watch your movies, we're not going to support your movies, and we're not going to support any studio that features you in their movies. That's how we send a message to Liam Neeson regarding his views on black men, and how we send a message to those movie studios on people who have these views regarding black men. He can feel like he can express these statements about black men, but we need to hold him accountable for it. And when I look at these so-called apologists and these people trying to excuse it and talk about forgiveness, I'm sorry, I cannot forgive your Liam Neeson for what he has said. And because he has said this, I will never watch another Liam Neeson movie ever again. And I urge most people out here who are rational thinkers to never watch another Liam Neeson movie ever again. And anyone who comes to me with a whole argument talking about we need to forgive this man, we need to, and talk about making excuses for him, I'm sorry, those excuses don't wash with me. And those apologists, they don't. Their whole thing shows me that these people are deeply damaged, especially a lot of these black folks out here who are making excuses for this man. You show me how deeply damaged you are, how deeply dysfunctional you are, because this man has made a statement of clear hatred towards you, and you want to go out here and participate in codependent behavior where you make this abuser, you give this abuser a pass instead of putting a boot where it needs to be. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, like The Man Crisis, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.